What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here today. A little bit of newsy news. This popped up over the weekend. I'm not sure where it originated from, but it got sent to me from a couple of different places. eBay is rolling out one of their test features. They like to do this from time to time, where they bring these things out, they open it up to some random listings, random people. Details are still sparse on how this is exactly going to work. I have reached out to eBay directly to try to get some more information on this, but I am recording this late Sunday night, so if I get more details, if there's enough for a second video, I will do one, or I'll toss it into the weekly sports card market update, depending on the information. They are going to start. This is not rolled out yet. I did get a response from Ask eBay, and they did say that this is coming. So I don't think anyone has actually seen this feature out in the wild yet. eBay is going to start testing extending auction durations by 2 minutes when a bid is placed in the last 2 minutes of an auction. And it says this will apply to select items in the trading card category. That's all the details that we have. Now, I shared this on Twitter and on Instagram on Sunday late afternoon, early evening. If you're not following me on those platforms, the handles are in the descriptions down below. Spoilers, it's Neo Cards and Comics. The reaction to this was strong. A lot of people, let's put it this way. You could tell who the people are that buy on eBay, and you could tell who the people were that sell on eBay. This, I don't know that it kills sniping. I have actually, I have never done eBay snipe. I have never set up an eBay snipe in my entire life. I am old school. I do it myself. I wait until the last 30 seconds or so, 10 seconds, whatever the case might be, and then I fire a bid in on my little old lonesome. I do not use any sniping software. So I have to imagine at minimum, this is going to drastically change, if not kill, how sniping software works. Because traditionally, sniping software, I guess you could still use it. It would put your max bid in with, 5 seconds to go. But the auction's going to keep going. You just happen to have your max bid in. If someone outbids it, they outbid it. I guess it could still technically function. It just might not be a snipe per se. But it kind of kills that activity. And in theory, this should lead to better auction results, which, spoilers, is eBay's job. They are a selling platform. Their sole purpose is to, A, make money, and B, realize a higher selling price for their sellers. They are there, in theory, to empower their sellers to get the maximum amount of money that they can. Because A, that keeps sellers on the platform. B, the item sells for more, which means eBay gets a higher payout. And love them or hate them, I think we all have somewhat of a love-hate relationship with eBay, depending on the day of the week. They have, by far and away, the most inventory and the most eyeballs. I hear this all the time from people. Screw eBay, I'm not using them anymore as both buyers and sellers. And we all know that's just not true. It's nearly impossible to function day to day if you are a hobby power user and just completely ignore eBay for one or both of those aspects. And the other thing too is pretty much every major auction platform works like this to some degree or another. They all have their different versions of extended bidding, but they all do it. Golden does it. Fanatics Collect does it. A lot of whatnot auctions, more on that in a second, are like that if they're not sudden death. High-end auction houses like Heritage, I believe, work like this. And I mean, just think back, your traditional old school auction with an auctioneer, what this is all based off of, didn't have a big clock ticking down and you got everyone yelled out their number at the last second. That's not how it works. I saw people in the comment section, they're like, this isn't how auctions work. This is stupid. Why would auctions work like this? This doesn't make any sense. My guy, my girl, have you ever heard of going once, going twice, sold? It's literally exactly how an auction is supposed to work. I mean, come on. I personally don't have a major problem with this one way or the other. Am I going to be annoyed by this when I buy sometimes? Probably. Am I going to be loving life when I sell sometimes? Probably. I do think that this benefits sellers, which, once again, should be a good thing. You should be excited about that if you sell on eBay regularly. The other thing that means is, and maybe this is going a little too deep on it, if this does indeed help auction prices a little bit, that makes your comps look better out there at the shows. Everybody uses eBay sold listings. If all of a sudden auctions start going for a few dollars more, a few percentage points more, that helps you as a seller at a show. That's just, eBay is the price guide of the hobby to some shape or form. It is what it is. And I'm surprised it honestly took them this long. I have to imagine a lot of this is someone sitting in an office and looking at how Whatnot works, and probably from their own internal results from eBay Live. A lot of sales on Whatnot and just live selling platforms in general are not done with sudden death. Sudden death is like an eBay auction. When the clock winds down, the item sells with whatever price that it's at. Then there are more traditional auctions where the bidding extends, usually on the live selling platforms. And I've never bought on a live selling platform, but from what I've observed, it's usually quicker clocks. Like it jumps, like adds 5 seconds on, 10 seconds on, maybe, if that. And you see it. It feeds into the FOMO. No. No way in hell is Shillbitter 69330 with 3 feedback beating me out on this item. I'm taking this down. I got 2 more minutes in me. Let's go, buddy. You get caught up in that wanting to beat the other person that's virtually across from you because you want the item. And that's what they're banking on. Maybe that adds an extra 5 or 10% onto a sale. That's good for the seller. That's good for eBay. That's eBay's purpose. If you want to trickle that down, now that card has a 5 to 10% higher comp. And I'm making numbers up. I don't know how much this will drastically affect selling prices, if at all. I don't think they'll be drastically lower. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe there's some unintended consequences here that I am not considering. I hear a lot of noise about people saying, they hate this. They're not bidding on things anymore. I think you're fooling yourself. If someone puts up a card that you really, really want, you're going to bid on it. Let's be honest. Now, the devil will be in the details here. Is this, and once again, when eBay rolls out these test things, we don't really have the full information. What does it end up looking like by the time it comes to fruition? If it comes to fruition, I guess that's something else to note here. This is a test. Maybe it fails the test and it doesn't end up coming out. That being said, it does feel like when we see features like this, these testing features, once they work their way through testing, or once they get to this point, I feel like we've seen most of them come to market, maybe with some tweaks here and there. Is this something you could choose to turn on or off when you list your item for sale? Does it only apply to certain values of cards? These are things that we're not 100% sure of yet. If it's a $5 auction on a low dollar card, I don't know that we need this. If it's a $500 plus card, $1,000 plus card, okay, sure, I could see it. On the mid to higher end, whatever that means to you, I don't know that we need it on a $10, Paul Skeens base Topps Chrome card or whatever. I don't know that we need it on something like that, or like a low value PSA 9 Pikachu or something. Does it need to be in those sorts of things? That I don't think so. But something higher end, a first Bowman auto of a decent player, a higher end Pokemon single, sure. let's go ahead and throw it on there and see what happens. So, very, I guess I'll say controversial. I personally don't think that it is. I don't mind this. Like I said at the beginning, my general take on this is I'm probably going to like it sometimes and not like it some other times. And that usually probably means that it's probably a fair thing that they're doing. And I do think that it is, if you're telling me to rank it, I believe it is a slight win for sellers at minimum and a slight win for eBay at minimum. I don't see a lot of downside for eBay and sellers here in this particular case. And let's be honest, buyers get all the love on eBay. If this does indeed help sellers out for a little bit, it's about damn time that sellers got a little bit of love. So, I have a feeling this could be a spicy comment section just based off what I saw on social. If this rolls out, your sniping will have a major impact on that. We'll see how they adjust. That's a big question mark. How does auctions go? Do they end up being, maybe it's better now to list for a auction rather than a bin/best offer on an item potentially. I can't, once again, the old dealers using eBay comps, they'll tell one person, I don't use auctions, bro. That's not an accurate way of doing it, because they didn't like the auction values on whatever card that they're trying to sell out of their case. And then the next person walks by and they look at a card in their case and the best comps on that are auctions. They're going to say, oh, all I use is auctions, bro. So card dealers are going to manipulate this however they want to manipulate it one way or the other. But if you're looking at it from a more macro perspective, I do think that this slightly helps card prices a little bit. And I think it's eBay trying to maximize that volume as much as possible, or that sale as much as possible, which is what they're supposed to do. So fire away in the comments down below. We'll see how this plays out. Like I said, I think you'll be able to quickly tell who is a buyer on eBay and who is a seller on eBay. That's all I got. Catch you, boys and girls, on the next one. Peace.